the people wanna get in the circus, trying hard to keeping up with the Joneses. Everything is kind of trouble and purpose. And you're lying in a bed of roses. I never dreamed of getting in the action. Life moves with all the surprises. I never dared to feel the good reaction. It comes down to this, you're gonna be a tough act to follow, and you better believe it. Just take a bite and see that it's gonna be too much to swallow. You better believe it. Yeah, I got one more trick, but you're gonna be a tough act to follow, to follow. You're gonna be a tough act to follow, to follow. Oh, I feel I like the way I got up from the start. I was under pressure. I feel I got away. It comes down to this, yeah. You're gonna be a tough act to follow, and you better believe it. Just take a bite and see that it's gonna be too much to swallow. You better believe it. Yeah, I got one more trick, but you're gonna be a tough act to follow, to follow, to follow. Yeah, you're gonna be a tough act to follow, to follow. You're gonna be, ooh.
Oh, here you are, face to face in this trashy bar. Another glass and I am going places. Makes me laugh about the irony of everything. I like the way you're thinking. I don't really care about the music on the dance floor. I don't really mind all the smokers in the bathroom. I don't care at all, baby. You got my attention. So you were saying, oh no, I don't see the logic of things. It's quite a lonely world that we're living in. Oh baby, you are something special, I'm sure. Everything makes total sense when you're next to me. Wanna go? I am all about adventure times. Another drink and I'll go anywhere. The way you smell, like a flash in the universe. You are illuminating. I don't really care about the people in the bar line. I don't really mind all the who goes doing stage dives. I don't care at all, baby. You got my attention. So you were saying, I don't see the logic of things. It's quite a lonely world that we're living in. Oh baby, you are something special, I'm sure. Everything makes total sense when you're next to me. Even if I told you I could never let you go, I'm not so sure you believe me. But if I mean to show you, I will never let you go. No, 'cause you don't see the logic of things. It's quite a lonely world that we're living in. Oh baby, you are something special, I'm sure. Everything makes total sense when you're next to me. should have done this, should have quit this long ago. Can't stand another heartbreak, but it's time to let it go. It'd be easier for me if I turn away to flee. Oh, but there's something holding on, the way being long gone.
Yo! What's up, everyone? Happy Saturday. Oh. How you doing, Patrick?
I'm alright, man. What about you?
Living the dream. Living the dream. Living the dream.
Cool.
Chat was very active this morning and very early on.
Man.
Love seeing that. And I love seeing everyone just like helping each other. It's great. It's one of the things I love
Good
about
stuff.
the community, man. It's everyone's helping out. It's great to see. Oh, there's Matthew. Didn't see him early on. I was commenting to Chatmaster C. I was like, I haven't seen Matthew or Alex P this morning yet. But welcome, Matthew. Glad you were here. All right. If you are new to GuineCube or new to the live stream, I did see a few earlier. Put hashtag new in the chat. We always love seeing the new faces and just welcoming new folks to the party, the Saturday morning party, or Saturday afternoon, depending where you are, or evening. It's all good. It's all good. Wait, hey Alex. I saw Chris say hey Alex. I don't see Alex. We see the other Alex. So
Alex D.
that's good. Oh wow, look at all those news. Whew. Mr. Jabby's new.
Hey, Daniel.
Chris Smith is new. Daniel, which Daniel?
Daniel Optic here.
Oh,
Did I pronounce it correct? Tabular editor.
there you go. Good to have you, Daniel. Tasha's new. Matthew's new. Wow, there's a lot of news. Look at that. EMRC's new. Rua's new. Whew. Let's see here. Shelly's new. Gaming Tricks is new. Oh, I like that name. Gaming Tricks. Abe's new. Sorov is new.
Wow.
Robbie's new.
Wow.
Martin's new. Wow, look at all of that. Holy cow. Gaming Tricks trying to get in there again with the tricks. I see you.
Sir
Mohan's
Psycho.
new. TM Schultz is new. Wow, that is insane. Look at that. Armajit's new.
Belinda is new.
Belinda's not new.
is new.
Belinda is not new. Oh, Swati's new. Wow. Rich, new producer. You guys rock. Oh, thank you for that. Mahma's new from India. Welcome. Raz is also from India. Awesome to see. Wow. Ian's new. Wow. That is bananas. That is bananas.
What the French toast?
Whew, that's what I'm saying. All right.
Yeah, that's right.
So welcome all of you. Also want to give a shout out to the members of GuineCube. If you see folks with the green name tag, or if you see like the little GuineCube logo next to them, those are members of GuineCube. All of you help us do what we do here on GuineCube, so it's very much appreciated. We always love the support that you bring, and it always amazes me. Just every time Patrick and I talk about it all the time. It's just amazing what the community does and helps support one another. So we definitely love you for that. We will have a members only section on the second half of the stream. So members, hold your questions for that. Chatmaster C will let you know when the queue is cleared and you can put in your questions and we will get to those. So hang on for that. Also, one of the benefits of the visitor or producer tiers, you can pre-submit your question. That allows us to maybe dig in a little bit more before the stream. instead of doing it off the cuff, which sometimes is harder. So you can, that's one of the perks. We don't actually have any pre-submitted questions today. I was surprised. It's been a while since we haven't had one. All right. And then, folks, so this is the Q&A session. We get to as many questions as we can. We never get to all of them because there's always a ton. So come back next week and ask your question there, and we'll try and get to it. If you do have a question, please put Q: in front of it. Chatmaster C is standing by. She will get those queued up. They all get queued up. None of them get missed. They all get queued up. We just don't always get to all of them. So if your question didn't get asked or answered, then we ran out of time and just didn't get to it. So we try to get to as much as we can. Yep. And then we have a 3 strikes rule here on Guy in a Cube. Please do not spam the question. 1 time is all you need. And Chatmaster C gets those in the queue. She does not control which questions get answered. So if she does see something, she can ping me on the side and say, hey, FYI, but normally I have the queue in front of me and we go through. All right. So 3 strikes, you get put in a timeout. All of our moderators can also do that. So those are folks with the blue names with the little wrench next to their names. They have the ability to do that as well. All right. Are you ready, Patrick?
Let's roll.
All right. Our friend Matthias is starting us off as usual. Good to have you, Matthias. First question. Python scripting in Power BI requires a local Python installation. Does the refresh of reports in the service then require a personal gateway? Or does it work with the enterprise gateway as well?
Personal gateway.
Personal
gateway for one, Alex.
And so Patrick, you had a recent video on Python. You called that out in the video.
A very popular video.
And a lot of people in the comments were on that too. So Matthias, check out that video.
Yeah.
Patrick goes through and just kind of talks about it. But yes, you need it is a personal gateway item. No info on when that will, or if that will come to the enterprise gateway. So.
Yeah.
All right. Are you ready for the next one, Patrick? We had a good discussion about this while we were waiting.
Yeah.
Zebacon. All right. There's a couple of these items. So I'm going to go through. There was 4 of them. I'm just going to read them, and then we'll comment on it overall. All right. Please tell me different ways for data model optimization for composite model, direct query, and Excel import. Fact from direct query and 2 Excel import DIMs. One is for calculated table in Power BI, 52 million rows in the fact. Following up, I have used Vertipack Analyzer and DAX Studio to analyze, cannot remove high costing columns, and cannot split string DT. I'm assuming that's date time. What about the load on calculated tables? Date times are all string. Gonna come back to that for sure. In the future, there will be more disconnected tables. That's how users want. Facts cannot be pre-aggregated. It's already optimized from the GCP BigQuery side. Should I just move on to DAX optimization now? The issue is table view is and I'm assuming table view means the table visual. Is taking 3 minutes to load. That's why doing all of this. Please tell me how to go about this here. Should I just move to DAX measure optimization and forget data modeling? That's a hard no. So there's a lot of stuff to unpack here. Let me start off first. The big thing that I saw there that was a red flag for me is date time strings. Why are they strings? Why would you have a string also on the fact table? The other thing is, why do we have time on there? Can we not drop time? Are you using time? Why is time there? So there are things there that you're calling out as potential red flags from a data model perspective. And so if you're ignoring those could be impacting performance. I don't know. I haven't seen the Vertipack Analyzer items. I don't know what server timings in DAX Studio are telling you that are potentially pointing you to to do that. A table visual taking 3 minutes to load is just frankly unacceptable. 3 minutes. Actually, I don't even know how you got that to, well, so maybe that's not the visual, because the visual has a hard coded, especially if direct queries involved. Actually, I don't even know if direct queries are required. There's like a 225-second timeout on the visual. So that's, I don't know. I don't know the whole story there. So bottom line, fix your data model. Also, if it's direct query, you said 58 million rows. Why aren't we just importing all of that? Why is that direct query? That's not a lot. So, so there's a lot of stuff there to unpack. I would definitely not ignore the data model piece, the DAX pieces. There's also potential things that you might be doing things in the DAX as a result of the data model issues. You're saying your users like disconnected tables. Well, okay, that's not a star schema, so I don't know why you're doing that. There's just a lot of things there. So, any thoughts, Patrick?
He just posted a comment, so it's not a string data. Yeah, and then direct query. So,
but why?
I mean, if you're direct querying, you're at the mercy. You're going to be at the mercy of your source in a lot of cases, and so go optimize BigQuery. But I start with the model, Adam. I you know, all disconnected tables, string data types, everything you said. But I think Chris Wagner posted this so long back in the chat. Start with the data model. Got to start with the data model.
Well, and if he's saying DT was data type, if it's a string data type, first off, why do you have strings on the fact table? Why are they on the fact table? Why? Can you get them off of the fact table?
And why? And why disconnected tables? Why not just create a a nice data model that has relationships that are not disconnected?
My big thing is I would focus, get a star schema. I don't know what the structure is on the BigQuery side, and I don't even necessarily care that it's BigQuery. It's a data source, right? So I don't know what the structure is on your data source, because we could be having the same conversation if it was Synapse or SQL database or Oracle. Like, I don't care. So just because of the structure on the data source side doesn't mean that it's in a structure that Power BI likes, which is a star schema. So I would focus on that, and then go to the DAX from there if that doesn't get you anything. So, all right. Oh, show the book. All right, because Belinda asked so nicely. Star schema. It's been a while since the book made it on the video.
Yeah, the data model. I just can't stop thinking about the data model. But anyway, we move forward.
Yes. Oh, Alex Powers is there. By the way, everyone, Alex Powers, it's not about the cell, just did have a birthday. So wish him happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Yay. Yes. All right. Zeba, I hope that gave you something to work with. I know it's compacted here, and we obviously can't see your data model, but hopefully that gives you some thoughts.
Wait, all right. Is Benny's birthday too?
Is it Benny's birthday? I didn't see.
Benny, is it your birthday, Benny?
I didn't see that.
I didn't see that.
All right. Okay, moving on. The Williams Wordsworth. When using Performance Analyzer, can you show how to reduce the other time? I am testing a single table on a single page, and the other time is killing the refresh. Really? What? For one visual? How? So typically when I see a large other bucket, it's usually because of you have a lot of visuals on your page. The way I like to describe it is, let's say you have 30 visuals on the page. It's kind of like a train, right? And so you got to go, one car to one car to one car, and you got the one in the back has got to wait. And so it's not one at a time, but there's some batching involved there. And so if you only have one visual and you're seeing a large other time, I don't know that I've ever actually seen that. That's interesting.
Yes. Yeah, but what's that table doing? Because I mean, there's some query prep and stuff that's going on in there.
Yeah, maybe, but
I just don't know what that table. Do you got a lot of tooltips? Do you have, I don't know what's going on inside of the DAX, that table, and it's got to prep the DAX, right, to send that DAX back. So what's happening in that table? How wide is that table? What type of things are you doing? How many measures are in that table? I mean, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, because the visual is
that's
going to have to
involved there.
build the overall DAX statement that it's going to send to the engine.
Right.
So maybe that's contributing to the other, because you just have a really complex table. Also, that table, is it a custom visual? Like maybe the custom visual aspect of it is causing the other bucket. So
Don't know.
I don't know. Need more info on that. And I'm not seeing any follow up in the chat. So okay.
Yeah, I was
So
looking. I didn't see anything.
So again, I haven't seen that myself personally. So I would take a look. What is it? Actual just the base table visual? Is it a custom visual? If it is a custom visual, swap it out with the base visual and see if that's better. And then, okay, the custom visual is doing something there that's causing it. And then also check the complexity of the table to see what's going on there. I don't know if you're not counting like slicers that are on the page as well as visuals. They are visuals. So maybe it's not just the table visual, but typically it's other visuals and just paring that down. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
All right. And I did see in the chat as it was going by, it is Benny did have a birthday. So happy birthday, Benny.
Happy birthday, Benny. Happy birthday, Denny.
Benny from Belgium. All right. Moving on. Let's see here. How to showing a single blob URL image in a card, text box, or any visual in Power BI report that shouldn't be in a table or matrix. What's the head shaking?
It doesn't. The image doesn't work in every visual. It doesn't work in every visual.
Works in a. Didn't it work in a card though? Works in a card.
Hang on 1 second. We have one in this. Shit, not this. Ooh. We just talked about this.
We did talk about that. It's fine. I don't care.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, it's all right. Belinda just put Patrick in a timeout. That's funny.
Please, I'm so sorry.
That's funny.
So I have it right here, and let me change the data category to image URL.
Oh, look, Alex dropped a link. I don't know if is that one of our videos?
It does not work in a card.
It
does not work. I didn't think it did. It does not work in a card.
Doesn't work in a card. Okay. I know you did do a video.
Yeah, I did two back-to-back videos.
I
did two back-to-back videos on images. Daniel, I should get a swear jar. Yeah, I should. Yes, you guys are absolutely correct.
And you can pay for that F-150 Lightning we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, that's right. I do need a drink too, David. You're right. Yes. I do need a drink. But it doesn't. It doesn't. Well, I knew it didn't work it doesn't work in every visual.
No, it doesn't. So I do know they followed up in the chat saying that they've got the image viewer, the custom visual. So I think we've used that before as well.
Yeah, but if you use the multi-row card, that's what I tend to use. If you use the multi-row card,
do you want me to show you this
one? No,
because I see you have something.
I do, but if you use the multi-row card and you're selecting things, it's just going to show the single image for whatever selected, you know?
Yep.
And I think I saw Chris Hamill or Miguel Myers, they just kind of formatted it up, you know, where it looked nice and tidy. And then when you select it, it just works. So are you about to show my screen?
No, I was turning off the
okay.
chat thing.
All right. Yep.
All right. Yep. Yeah, so play around. It's not all visuals. We have used that image visual from the custom visual, so we've used that before as well.
Yeah.
I know it does show up in slicers. So if you're doing like a list, like it will show up there. Because I've done that with my like Star Wars thing where it was the image cover of the movie. So yeah. All right. All right, next one. I'm on. Let's see here. My custom tooltips are going blank in peculiar situations. Only when something in the visual has been highlighted, and only when the tooltip is in a different visual than the one clicked. Only when the tooltip is in a different visual than the one clicked. So how would that even show up? But I mean, first thing that's coming to my head is like something's going on with the filter context. Like it's adjusting what's on the tooltip page. So.
Yeah, but what does he mean in the second part of that question?
So I think what's happening is you have the tool, say you have two visuals. You have the tooltip on, say, visual B, but I clicked on visual A, and then when I go to the tooltip on visual B, it's blank. But if I don't select something, there's something with the filter.
Okay,
yeah, yes, there's something's going on there. So you got to check.
Yeah.
Like try. So if you have some expressions in that tooltip, like just bring that to the main page and try playing with it to see like does it end up going blank.
Yep.
Yeah, something's going on there. It's filtering. Something's filtering.
It's your filter.
Cool. Good question.
Yeah, that was a good question. Made me think.
Yeah.
It's too early to be thinking about stuff.
Kavita? How do I change data source connection and data flows while using Gateway? Will it impact all my data sets created using data flows? Will there be a need to republish all my data sets? Okay, so if your data flow has an existing connection, chat can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think there's a way to like programmatically adjust the data source. It's like you'd have to go in and edit the data flow to change the data source. Like I know you can potentially update it for the data set, but I don't think you can do that for the data flow. Maybe you can. The gateway piece.
I need to spend more time with data flows, man.
Yeah. So the last part of this, well, I need to republish my data sets. Not necessarily. So if your data sets are referencing a data flow and you've just edited that data flow, the data set is still referencing that data flow. Yeah. You may have to refresh the data set if the data changed, but you shouldn't have to republish the data set. And then the gateway, the gateway is just for the given connection. So again, programmatically, I don't know that that's possible from a data flow. I'd have to try, but so you'd have to edit the data flow, and then from there you can adjust the gateway reference and whatnot. All right. Boom. Sandeep. Can we create calculation groups in Power BI, or does it require DAX Studio? Actually requires Tabular Editor. So the direct answer to your question is none of the above.
Yes.
The answer is Tabular Editor.
Tabular Editor.
Yes. So you cannot create them directly in Power BI Desktop. So Tabular Editor.
You can do 2 or 3. You can use 2 or 3.
Yes.
Daniel pointed that out. You can use either one. Either one.
By the way, Daniel Otikar in the chat, he is the creator or the main person doing Tabular Editor.
Alex made a good point. Alex made a good point there.
Alex always makes good points.
SSDT. So if you're going to Xmla endpoint, I think in SSDT you can create calculation groups.
Well, because you're just editing the model, right?
Yep.
So,
good point, Alex.
Although I don't know how saving an SSDT back to the Power BI desktop, I don't know how that would work. If you're doing it against Xmla endpoint, that's fine.
Yeah.
So there's probably some caveats on there. Definitely Tabular Editor. All right. Gil's got a question. This is for you, Patrick. I have Power BI Premium account. How can I change current account email domain to a new email domain 2 and keep all account content, workspace, reports, data sets, dashboards? That's not you, Patrick.
No.
So you can alter so this is an Azure AD account that's in Office 365. You can add another domain to your tenant, and you can swap the domain that's used for that user. One thing I have not personally tried is whether when you do that and you log back into Power BI with the new email, does it still recognize that you're the same user? So is it actually tracking, is Power BI tracking that account by GUID or by the actual email? And that's what I don't know. If it's tracking it by the GUID, you're fine. If it's tracking it by the email string, then you basically have a new account and you have to republish. So before you do that, I would make sure that all the main content that you want to keep is in an app workspace, and then you give that user the right access to the app workspace so that it's not in the my workspace, and then you're fine. Cool. I would, Alex, I would hope that it's the GUID and not the string.
Oh, not the
But
name, not the string.
I haven't personally tried it, so I can't say one way or the other. I'm hoping if it is the GUID, you're fine, and you can just change the drop down for what domain that user is going to have.
Yeah,
And then you're good to go.
I kind of knew that.
Okay. Sure. You're the Active Directory guru on here.
No. And the Kerberos.
And the
guy, too.
Kerberos. Kerberos. Yes. It's like Kerberos. It just works. That's right.
Yeah.
All right. MK's got one.
Okay.
I want MK. I wonder if that's Michael Kowalski. Probably not. Deployment pipelines. P1. Is there a way to set up data set parameter rules to update source in the next stage prior to initial data set deployment? No. So I've got a setup here. Let me go to my machine. Let's head over to my desktop. It is actually a desktop, not a stay up to date. Although they can't see us. All right. So I've got a deployment pipeline that's already been deployed. And you can see here that you can do, and I forgot to zoom it going. Dang it. You've got the little deployment settings where you can define the rules for changing the data source. Come on, little spinny. So there's no rules there. I think no, nothing on there. I think I had them on the production one. Maybe. No. All right. I didn't set up any rules on this, but you can do that. I've got it deployed to all three. Going to another one where I've only deployed it. I have it set in a production item. And so you can't even get to this screen until you pick a workspace. So you absolutely cannot do it before this stage. But even at this stage, the actions are grayed out. And I can't actually do anything until I actually push it to the previous stage. The minute I do it to the previous stage, and that takes a second, and that will create another workspace. Come on. Then these should light up, at which point you can do it. So you can't do it before it's in more than one stage. So, yep, that's how it works. There you go. Bam. There it is. And now I can do it on production once it's deployed, and I can set that up there. And then you could also start in development and go forward, or you can start in production and go back. So, yep, that is your answer. How's that, Patrick? Is that nice?
That's good.
Nice.
That's good.
Deployment pipelines. Cool. All right. All right. Sora, how are we doing on 3 minutes? Sorav. I configured incremental refresh just the way it's done on the video. Which video? When I publish it, my data set contains only the filtered data set. Any help on that? My guess is you didn't set it up right.
Yeah, but the biggest thing is probably, did you properly name the parameters?
Yep, range start, range end.
Probably, yep. And
Case
then
sensitive.
on the configuration, yeah, the case sensitive. And on the page, the configuration page, did you make sure you updated the amount of data you want to retain? Because a lot of times I see people when they set it up on the desktop, it's just 1 in 1. You need to make sure you expand the amount, that range of what you want to retain in the background.
Yep.
If that doesn't work, I don't know what else you're doing in your model.
Yep. Yeah. Something's not right. If it's only showing you the filtered, something's not right. Go back through the steps.
Are the partitions are the partitions getting created? Do you have premium per user or premium? Are the partitions getting created? You can take a look at that also. How do I set it? Okay, go ahead.
I saw a comment from Matthew, and I don't know the context. He said Adam never has two guests at home. I don't know what that means.
Oh, that's a good one, Alex. Show us the M, but I don't want to see the M here. But you could also have a problem with your range start and range end. How you set the equality. One of them can't be. You can't do less than.
Oh yeah, you
on
called
both
that.
sides.
Yeah, you called that out.
Yeah. It's all in the video. So.
All right. Let's get one more in before we cut over. All right.
Yeah, sure.
Luca, I want to implement a slicer that lets me drill down with every dimension that's in my model. Ooh, they want like an Uber slicer. An Uber slicer. Uber slicer. You'd have to do like a custom visual, maybe does that.
Yeah, but
why would you want that? Why?
Because think about it. If you're talking about every dimension and we're talking about one to many, they don't technically filter each other. Yeah. So how do I put them in one element so they roll up properly without setting up bidirectional or doing some funky DAX? I don't know. I don't know. If you would need one slicer to control them all.
Yes. I don't know why you would want to do that though. Yeah. Nick's saying maybe a flat file. Okay, well then still why? Well, but he said dimension. I don't know. That just sounds I don't know why you would want to do that. All right.
I'm sure a report consumer asks for it. Sure. Like why can't we just have one of these?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Sorry, go ahead.
All right, we are at the halftime. Chatmaster C has cleared the queue. Members, get your questions in. I am cutting over to member-only chat. So everyone can still watch the stream and watch the questions and answers. Only members and moderators can participate in the chat. So if you want to be a member, you can check out the join button down below and check that out. Also, if super chats always take priority, so if you do have a burning question and you're not a member and you want to get that in, then check out these super chats as well. All right, what were you laughing at, Patrick?
I don't know. Just you'll see.
I'll see. All right. Yeah, and I was told you need to wake up.
Oh.
Wake up, buddy. Wake up. Be more energetic.
Okay. I thought I was being very energetic. I was reading the questions. There's a lot of stuff going on in the chat.
You're not quirky enough right now.
Okay.
You know. Oh, I forgot to mention the whole thing with Zeba on the whole modeling. Look, sometimes you just need to roll up your sleeves. I forgot to say it. We talked about it. All right. Oh, no bother. All right, Christian. Good to see you, Christian, as always. Is there a way to merge two work accounts on the Power BI community site?
I don't know.
So I don't know if that. What I want my answer to be is open a support ticket, and see if they can help you out. I think they can. If you're on Twitter, Christian, ping Kelly K.
Yes.
And she can help you. Let me see if I can get or hey Alex, can you link Kelly's Twitter account in the chat? So she helps with the community stuff, so she can probably help you with that, or take it offline and work on it. So I would go that route. All right, and Jack Mohan, thank you for becoming a supporter. Very much appreciated. All right, PA Beater. Here we go. This was early in the chat. This is one we want to get into here. Number of videos mentioned something called an aggregated table in reference to SQL. What does that really mean? Are you thinking of something like a job that builds a table on a schedule? That wasn't what I thought the question was going to be, but go for it, Patrick.
Could be. It could be a job. It could be part of your ETL process. when your data warehouse loads, and someone could make that. Let's say you're using Data Factory or integration services, it could just be part of that. So when I load my fact table, I actually have an aggregated version of that fact table. Absolutely. Or if you go to your data warehouse guys and they go, no, we're not doing that, just write a view. If it's especially if it's a relational database, you can say select, group, column, count some, group by those columns, and there's your aggregated table. There's lots of ways you could do this.
Ultimately,
and
ultimately that aggregated table has to be materialized somewhere. Some people do it in the source. Yes. You could do it from a Power Query perspective, or you could technically have a calculated table, although I would recommend...
You say it. Don't you
I know.
say
I know.
it.
But effectively, it's an imported table, right? That's aggregated. Yeah. So, and there's different ways to get it there. And then after that, you can do the manage aggregations and link it to the detailed DQ table if you want that. So, and Patrick's got a bunch of videos. Hey, Alex, there is a playlist for aggregations. I don't know if you want to drop that in the chat. Lots of good stuff there. It walks through it.
How do you aggregate if not that way?
All right.
Interesting. Probably.
What did he have a thought? Oh, how do you aggregate if not that? I mean,
there's other ways, right? You just went through all of them. You just
essentially it's a summary table, right? So it's just a question of how you get that summary table in. Honestly, if you're working with if your end goal is just working with the summary table, then it's not the aggregated table feature. It's just the way that you're building out your data model. The fact table is just an aggregated summary, right? So it's not, you maybe not even have the detail table there. So, yeah. All right, Chris, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Help us to get auto ags any faster. Hang in there, buddy. Hang in there. Patience. It said July on the on something. On the release wave.
Chris Finley. That's Chris Finley.
Oh, what a great! Oh, come on. Oh, Chris. Ooh, why didn't that work? Oh, there we go, Chris. Yeah, that's because Patrick has a new role now. He's not on the cat team.
Oh my, jeez. Let's just.
What is your role, Patrick?
All
right. He doesn't like to talk about it. It's all right. Reem, thank you for the super chat. I don't know if there was a question that was supposed to be a part of that, but it's very much appreciated. Oh, Bogdan's here too. Casper made it. Casper, I hope you're safe with the flooding that I saw an article on the flooding in like Netherlands and Europe, like Belgium, Germany area.
Oh my God. Why did you say anything?
Chewy said Power BI evangelist. That's actually not what I like to say.
Oh jeez.
So, yeah, it's much better the way I say it. So, Wyatt, you have roles. Yes, on our day job, not on the Guy in the Cube side. So Bogdan, Chris, you probably already saw that, but Bogdan said AutoAg's coming soon to a premium instance near you.
All right.
Bogdan is the source of truth on that. So, excellent.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
All right. All right, PA Beater, hopefully that helped you out. Oh, Reem had a question already in the chat. Excellent. All right, Reem. So thank you for that super chat. Just random there. So Reem's got a question. I am trying to connect to an Oracle database in Power BI Desktop. Excellent. But I get this error. The recommended provider is not installed. What is the correct server link to access the database tables? So my guess here, they finally fired Patrick. No, Patrick, he wasn't fired. All right, that's all right. Anyway, so Reem, my guess here, Power BI Desktop is a 64-bit application. My guess is if you installed the Oracle provider, you probably installed the 32-bit instance of the provider. So you need to install the 64-bit. So make sure the bitness matters there. So make sure you've got the right one. Normally, every time that comes up, it's the 32-bit version of the Oracle client and 64-bit version of Power BI Desktop. This is also true with the gateway. This is with the gateway as well, right? So if gateway is 64-bit, make sure you've got the 64-bit client tools installed for that. That would be where I would start. Also, if you don't have the Oracle client installed, then install it, but make sure it's the 64-bit.
Gotta get the ODAC. Gotta get the ODAC.
Yes. Awesome. Awesome. Zeba, thank you for becoming a member. Very much appreciated. Welcome. All right. Yes, business matters. Kendall. All right. After the success of the Python in Power BI video, will there be an R in Power BI video in the near future? Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Maybe Wednesday. We were talking about that Python video though. That was insane. There's a lot of people that were interested in that.
Stay tuned, Kendall.
All right. RK. You've got 2 questions there, so I may have to come back to the second one. Is there an easy way to migrate existing on-prem tabular models, so 2016 SQL Server, to Power BI Premium Service capacity? Currently using Visual Studio 2015. Which versions of VS supports migration? Excellent question. Mr. Chris Wagner, I know you did a video on migrating from Azure AS to Premium, so it's a very similar process. I don't know if you want to drop the link to your video in the chat. Please feel free. So essentially what I would recommend, what I've done, is probably just Tabular Editor. In most cases, oh, Chris said he already did. Excellent. In most cases, it should work. Like if you just grab it from Tabular Editor and then repoint it to the premium capacity, the Xmla endpoint, and deploy it, it should work. We've done it a bunch of times and it's been successful. The only thing I would call out is if you're doing something fairly complex in the model, like there might be some edge cases there where it's like it doesn't match up properly and you'll have to do some fix-ups of some kind. So you'll see that when you go to deploy though, if there's an error or something. But in a lot of cases, it should just work. So yeah, Tabular Editor is your friend. Although it should work. Is someone playing pool, Patrick? I'm hearing.
Is it?
I hear the pool stuff going around.
Yeah.
All right, Joel. It was PJ, wasn't it?
Mm-mm.
All right. Question for you guys: is it possible to make an income statement with paginated reporting? Absolutely.
Anything's possible. With paginated reporting.
Oh, anything's possible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anything's possible.
Now the follow-up question to that is how do you do that? And that's a bigger question.
Yeah.
But essentially, like the way paginated reports work, like you'll have the table area, and there are so many properties and groupings and things that you can do and expressions you can use.
Yep.
So you'll have to dig into how to do that. One thing I'll call it, Paul. Paul Turley's in the chat. The recipes book from way back when, which is a great book for paginated reports. I don't know if there's an example there for like income statement in the recipe book. Off the top of my head,
I think Paul and Peter Myers and I actually had a conversation about this. I don't think there is one, but I think Paul. I gotta look at my email. I think Paul sent me something.
Oh! PA Beater said it's covered in paginated in a day.
Oh,
ooh, nice.
Oh.
All right. So, Alex, I don't know if you put the paginated reports in a day, or even the paginated report. Yeah. So the on the Power BI YouTube channel, there's a playlist for paginated reports in a day. Alex, I don't know if you. PA Beater said not exactly, but it's close.
But it's close.
But it gives you ideas.
I went through that content. Yeah.
But it gives you ideas on like where to go. So I would definitely start with that if you're not familiar with how to interact with all the expressions and properties. Check that out.
Yeah, I think this is
a good place. Good place to start.
I think this is what he sent me. Yeah. This is what Paul sent me. The link that Alex just put in. That's the one you want.
Yes.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Awesome. Excellent. Look at that. Everyone coming together. All right. Premchander. Haven't seen Premchander in a while. Is there a way to automatically trigger a refresh of a particular table using Xmla endpoint? Yes.
Scripted.
It's the refresh command for the table. So one thing you can do also is like if you're in, I want to say you could do it in Tabular Editor, but in Management Studio also you can like go to refresh the given table and then script that out and then there you go. Yep.
If you look at Michael on Elegant, I think it's Elegant BI, You know, it has that process manager there.
Yes.
And it's involved.
It's
but
in Tabular
if you go
editor.
take a look.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, boom, there you go. So
Well, because
if
it
you
says
use that,
C#
it's
code
really
that you run inside a Tabular editor.
right. There you go. So yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice.
Yep.
Daniel just commented. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I got it.
And Tabular Editor 3 can do it natively. So there you go.
I did not know that. So maybe I add that to my list of videos because that's good. That's good. That's a good one.
Yeah. So you should do a video on that, Patrick, of how to refresh an individual table. Like, what are your options?
Yeah.
That's a good
What
video.
are your options? There you go. That's a good video.
It's a premium only video, so no one's going to watch it. But
yeah, I'll give them 3
some
options.
people will
do
watch
3
it.
options.
I mean that in
we'll
the
do
broader,
Management Studio.
sense.
We'll use the
It's a
Process
good video,
Manager,
though.
and we'll use Tabulator to 3. Yeah, that's it. There you go.
And
That's the video. Stay tuned.
All right. Look at that. This is how
We'll
we
talk
figure
about
out how to do videos on Gynacube.
Yeah.
An inside look, if you will. All right. Good question. All right, Nick. Have you ever seen a case where creating groups in a field pane is better than creating a column in M or DAX?
Just did a video on this. And the groupings is a manual process. And the challenge with using the grouping panes is if you have a data that comes in that's outside those groups, it's just going to go in the other bucket, right? It's just going to go in your other groups. But if you do it in Power Query, like I did in the video, as more data is added, the logic in the M will automatically pick it up.
Yeah.
I just, if you can avoid doing these things in DAX, I would. While M will slow it down, but the best option is let's go back to the source. If you have access to the source, I would definitely do it that way. Then I would do it in M, then DAX. And if you want to do the groupings, just note that if you do the groupings and data falls out those groupings, it's going to go in the other bucket. So,
Yep. Bam. There you go. Hope that helped, Nick.
Kendall say I'm still promoting that video.
All right, I had Chris Finland
Yes, I am, Kendall.
next, but I already pulled that up, so we're gonna remove that. We already answered that. You never answer Chris's Teams calls.
I answer Chris's Teams calls.
I don't know why you're so mean, Patrick. That's kind of
I'm not. Maybe it's the new job.
Sure. All right. Let's see here. Alex, we're using a vendor to do a Power BI report for us that involves using the REST API to pull ServiceNow data. Okay, they're doing all of this as one file. But shouldn't this much data have its own data set? I don't know how much data is there. So it depends. There are, ultimately, if you're pulling data and you're going to reuse it, or there's a broader sense of it, you may want to look at, like data warehousing it even outside of Power BI first, like through some ETL process. In terms of multiple or having its own data set, it's inside a Power BI desktop file, so it has a data set. I just don't know like what your goals are with that. Chris Wagner's calling out data flows as well. So maybe data flows is a good fit for reuse. I just don't know how much data is there. So I don't know, what's going on there. So Alex, and I'm looking to see if you commented on the data part. I'm not seeing that. I saw a smiley face. Oh, let's see. Did have something.
I like Benny's answer. Benny gave a really good answer.
And we'll go to Benny's. But Alex says, I'm fully aware of how terrible it is to use the REST API to do this. Our MSP won't give us direct access to this. No, and that's okay. Like using the REST API is fine. I just don't know what the challenge is there. So like how much data is it? Like, why do you feel it needs to be? So from the question, because your question was, does it need to be its own data set? It's already in a data set. So do you want a centralized data set, or do you want more flexibility with the data? Like that's the part I'm struggling with, trying to connect the dots of doing that. And he says, we'll be using Snow data to feed, or ServiceNow data to feed various reports. Okay. Got it. So there you want a data set that's centralized, right? So get rid of, you don't want all the data silos. And so there, it could just be, yes, have that central data set, or like what Chris mentioned, data flows is something to look at as well. So those are all things to consider, or, set up that ETL process for that central database that you can then feed into those items as well, which for the Power BI pieces could be faster because the REST API stuff is probably going to be slower. So cool. You said Benny had a good answer. What is it?
It's exactly what you were saying.
Yeah,
it's exactly what you and
yeah.
Chris
You're most
said.
likely going to
It's
have other reports requirements. Yep, for ServiceNow in the future, it makes sense to put them in an abstract layer, data flows, or yep, absolutely.
Yep.
Awesome. Yes.
Good response.
Gavin had something here. So Gavin said, we replicate the ServiceNow data onto an on-prem database. Best way. Yeah. So having that central data, you use ETL to get it into a database of some kind, on-prem, in the cloud, wherever. Once it's in the database, you've got flexibility. Performance is probably going to be better on the refresh from a Power BI side. It's probably going to be faster than going directly to the REST API. So lots of good things there.
So many options.
Yes. Also, Alex said ADF has a native ServiceNow connector also. Wow, look at that. Bam. Azure Data Factory, if you're not sure what ADF is. So that's an ETL service on the Azure platform. Excellent. Alex said, yeah, I'd love to do ETL on-prem, but we're severely limited due to the MSP contracts we have set up. Interesting. Okay. Well, hopefully we answered that one. I think we did. All right, Thomas. Which tool is best to identify orphaned measures? I don't know if does Tabular Editor 3 do that? I wonder if the best practice analyzer, was there a rule in there to find measures that weren't being referenced?
Being used.
So,
but that's remember, we're just talking. If we use those tools, it's just if it's not being used in the data model. But I think
Stephanie Bruno's tool, does it do that? I think the BI helper from Resurad has some of that as well.
Yeah.
All right, so we got Stephanie Bruno's tool. Hey Alex, help me with the links there.
So Average Nerd Dad said PBI Cleaner tool.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one.
Oh, Imka Feldman's tool. That's right. Imka has one also.
Nice.
Yeah. Power BI Helper, Power BI. Oh, look, Benny just posted all three of them. Boom. There you go.
There you go.
The cleaner, the helper, and the finder.
There you go. Yeah. BI cleaners from Imka. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Look at that. Yeah, and Belinda said Radicad's Res's tool. That's BI helper. So,
Cleaner, the helper.
Yep. So yes, there are tools out there. Bam. There you go. All right. How we doing? Got time, man. Check Mohan. Is there a way to make report consumer can change parameter, e.g. variable declared in a measure like discount %? No.
What if?
Not by default.
What if?
What if is a potential option. If you're going against something like SAP HANA, you can actually take advantage of the variables there. My guess is you're not.
Yeah.
So really it's at report consumer time. So when you're viewing the report, you don't necessarily, the options you have are the filter pane, the slicer pane, or the what if. Those are your options for that type of interaction.
We have a video on what if. We got a video on what if. Yeah.
Yep. So what if could allow you to change, update that. So Kendall says Power App.
Well, and then Benny, look at Benny's, right? Depending on the data source, could do write back or something like that.
Yeah. So through Power Apps or something like that.
So Chris Finland has a great answer.
Oh my gosh. Of course he does. Yes. Paginated reports supports parameters. There you go.
Yes.
At runtime.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Excellent. that gave you some options there. Go forth. All right, PA Beater. When is shared data coming to report server for Power BI reports? What does shared data mean?
Shared data sets. Shared data sets.
Data sets. Okay, well.
Yeah. So the answer to this, it is not. But PA Beater, use analysis services on premises. There you go. If you're already on prem, set up AS, and there's your shared data sets.
So I'll also say Mr. Chris Finland said it's not. That is the source of truth for that area. So there you go. Also, I would say Chris Finland did a good blog post last year. I think it was around June, where he talked about the direction of like Power BI report server and where the focus is and what's going to be coming from there. So like I remember someone was asking me, Alex, I don't know if this was you and I were having a conversation or it was someone else about the roadmap for Power BI report server. And I'm like, that's the blog. So it's like he just kind of said we're updating the Power BI desktop items, but for Power BI report server itself, the focus is really on the cloud at this point.
But you know, I'm not kidding about SSAS. So we were working with a very large financial institution, and they complained about not having shared data sets. And I just opened up my machine, opened the VM, had report server running, had AS running, created a data set, published it out, and then I opened up Power BI reports optimized for, on-prem, and we connected to it. And they're like, so we publish our data sets to SSAS. I'm like, yep, and they're all shared. They're all shared data sets at that point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Alex, for dropping the link. All right. Moving on. Let's see. Alex has a question. How can I rebind the new and incredible Paginated report visual that I'm moving through a deployment pipeline that's connected to a Power BI data set? Stay tuned.
I'm just... Stay tuned, Alex. Stay tuned.
Not yet. Working on it. I don't know. Chris, I don't know if you have Chris Finland. If you have magical thoughts on that.
Oh, Mr. Powers.
My understanding is that's potentially a limitation right now. It just came out.
I can't wait till I.
Chris, you get the same answer I gave you yesterday. Powers. Ask the team. Ask that team. Isn't that your team, Chris? I thought maybe not. I don't know. All right. Awesome. Chris Finland already beat me up on that. Oh, that's funny. All right. Alex is a troll, man. He
is, man. This is 2 weeks in a row.
Yes.
This is 2 weeks in a row.
All right. So we got a few more minutes. Let's go back through. So all of them are, we've done some questions before. So let's go back through. RK had another one. Can we combine two data sets, two separate models to call them from one report within Power BI premium capacity? You need to maintain RLS, two separate group controls each data set. So composite models, direct query over AS. Or direct query over Power BI data sets. Be very careful from a performance perspective. So did they fix the RLS piece of that yet? I know there was a limitation there on the RLS side. I don't think that's been addressed yet. I want to say, I don't know. So validate that. Look at the limit, go to the docs, look at the limitations. There was a limitation on the RLS piece. So be aware of that. But
I think it's fixed.
Yeah. Either way, that would be your option. And so play around with it, see what the performance is like. It depends on what you're trying to do with it. So just be careful. Just be careful.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Christian had another one. Is there a plan to add external tool support for Power BI report server? So I'm going to refer back to the previous report server thing and say, well, so that's on the Power BI desktop side. So I don't know.
I haven't looked at it. I'll have to go.
Is external tools still a preview feature? Because if it is, we say that on the Power BI desktop for report server that preview features aren't used there, and that may be why. I don't know if it's still a preview feature or not. It's a good question. I don't know. Don't know. All right. All right, Zeba. See if we can get all these knocked out. Sorry. So sorry, real quick, Zeba, before we go to yours. Chris said no. There was a decision made to not support it by Mr. Wade, referring to Mr. Christian Wade. Interesting. Wonder why. All right. There you go. There you go. All right, Zeba. Let's see here. Is there any row limitation on direct query composite models? The fact table has 52 million rows, with sales values having a cardinality of 12 million rows. I would say so. There is a limit on the number of rows you can pull back for a visual, right? So the returning data set from your query. So it's not necessarily limited on the number of rows in the table from a direct query perspective. It's what are you pulling back? And so if you're pulling back, the default is a 1 million row limitation. That can be adjusted if you're using Premium Gen 1. Gen 2 does not allow you to adjust that, at least at this time. I don't know if it's going to come. So be mindful of that, and you'll see the error if you hit that problem. But ultimately, like if you're just doing aggregations on that data, like it doesn't matter how many are on the backend data source. It could affect performance, obviously, but yeah, no, it doesn't matter.
But if it's only 52 million rows,
yeah, import it.
Import it.
That's baby data. Baby data.
52 million. You can handle
I got
that.
One more. I know we're up on the time, but we've got one more question in the queue, and I want to clear it out from the members. So Zagmohan's got a second one. How do I copy a folder, e.g. FY20 to 21, in Power BI report server, including all the security set for each report within the folder, and paste it within Power or report server, then rename it to FY21, 22? There's documentation out there. Look for like reporting services, not necessarily just Power BI report server, because there are items there to manipulate like the folder structures and items there. So check that out. I don't have a direct link for you off the top of my head, but
there's PowerShell commandlets too, man. There's lots of PowerShell commandlets. Yeah, cool. yeah.
Yes. So there are APIs available to do that from a report server perspective, like the folder structures and those items. So go check that out. That would be your answer. But search for reporting services instead of Power BI report server. That may get you better results when you go to the internet search engine of your choice, which we all know is Bing. Yes. Ooh, got a new member. I cannot pronounce that name. Nakasanathi. Thank you so much. Oh, and Alex, look at that. Alex put a link in there for SSRS copy folders. There you go. Bam. Bam. All right. All right, Patrick. We did it. Another one in the books. Bam. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you so much for all the questions. Great engagement, as always. Love it. Love it. Just have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next Saturday. And we got more videos coming out during the week. Any closing words, Patrick? Any words of wisdom?
Nope. Just have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend, everyone. All right. We love all you. We'll see ya.